I'm Hajer Sharief from Libya. I'm a project manager for an organization called Together We Build It organization. It's a civil society organization that's based in Tripoli, Libya. Mainly we work on empowering the role of women and youth in peace building. My chapter is about upholding universal human rights. What I really wrote about or included in the chapter is mainly I listed the international understanding on human rights, and that started, or it was really structured within the Universal Declaration of Human Rights with the UN. I also included some practical example and successful example of initiative youth has initiated, and a great example on that is the Amman Declaration. And I also talked about a recent success for youth in the field of peace building and security is the Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace and security. What is really important to remember on anything that is related to human rights, international conventions, but also resolutions from the Security Council that addresses particular issues such as the participation of women in peace building and security, or the participation of youth in peace building and security, is that even though that sometimes local communities look at these international conventions on human rights, or the resolutions from the Security Council, that they are coming from people who are not on the field. They are coming from people who maybe don't really understand how things are going on ground, don't really understand our local communities, and then people might assume that these are things that are coming from the outside, and we should not really be bothered with them, or we should not try to be aware of them and be empowered of how we use them, because they don't really work with our local community, or they are not really relevant for us. However, if we would just ask ourselves a question, what is human rights, what is peace, what is security, we would all end up with the one definition. Even if we would use different words to describe it, I think we would all say it's the values that we respect, and it's the values that we want to be respected. So one of the very important things that the chapter includes is the Security Council Resolution 2250 on youth, peace and security. The resolution, even though that it was adopted from the Security Council, and I think in the field and in the history of the participation of youth in peace building and the interest of youth in security issues, this is quite a major success to have the Security Council openly and formally recognize the role of youth in peace building and security issues. However, to have the best outcomes of the resolution needs to be translated and implemented on local level, and that's the role youth can play. Youth activists, youth-led organizations should really look at the Resolution 2250 and just read it, go through it, and try to see what does it mean to you, what does it mean to your local community, and then try to come up with a project or an idea on how to implement the resolution. Now, if implementing the 2250 resolution is just about, well, youth taking the initiative on their own and implement it, then we will say, then why do we need the Security Council to adopt such a resolution? Well, such a resolution can actually empower the role of youth. It can empower the work of youth on ground. We all know that mainly most of the work that youth are doing is not really recognized politically. Government don't really recognize the positive role of youth in peace building and security. 2 years ago, I had someone, a young dear friend of mine, pledging a call of action to me. His name was Tawfiq bin Saud. I knew Tawfiq when he was 15, that was in 2012. In 2014, Tawfiq called me, and at that time there was 2 major armed conflict taking place in his own city, in my city. And then when he called me, he said, well, this is the time for us as youth to get our voices outside to the international community and to our own authorities, as in terms of how they can help us in building the peace in Libya. So in his phone call, he suggested to do a joint article together, to write a joint article together. And he said, well, I will focus on the role of youth and you can focus on the role of women. So I told him that, do you really think that this would make a difference? And then more or less, I just felt embarrassed with him, and I said, yes, I will do the article. And then he gave me a deadline of 2 days. I didn't really meet that. And then on the 3rd day, Tawfiq was assassinated by an armed group. So my call of action to youth is that I won't say, write an article about an issue in your own local community. I won't say, do a video or try to raise awareness. I would just say, stand up for your own rights. And even if you are in a situation or if you are in a position that you feel that you are satisfied, you have everything, then maybe you can look at the person next to you and see what's missing.